How we doing today? Today, we're talking about this guy, the EOS M2 by Canon. Welcome to Mirrorless. All right. Well, I recently purchased a Canon EOS M2. And just to get it out of the way really quick, if anybody's just checking in to see what I think about the camera, I think it's awesome. It's an awesome camera, especially for the money I paid for it. Just to get that out of the way really, really quick. Now, if you want to find out why I think it's an awesome camera, stick around. All right, first of all, the EOS M2 is the camera that came just after the EOS M, which got a lot of flack for its slow autofocus, and people really didn't catch on to it real well. It wasn't a very, I don't know, usable camera, I guess. I was always quite interested with it. But recently, I was looking to get something small, like a point and shoot. I had an old 9 megapixel Sony point and shoot that I keep at school with me and take pictures with it. And, you know, since I've been doing a lot more with photography, the image quality was horrible, actually. So I wanted to get something that had better image quality. So I was looking into a point and shoot. I was looking at some of the ELPH series. I was looking at some of the newer Sonys that were out there. The prices were up there pretty good if I wanted something that shot RAW and JPEG. So, this guy popped up on screen, the EOS M2, and I looked at the specs on it, and they're exactly the same as my, excuse me, got a little bit of a cold. They're exactly the same as my T5i. So I said, well, what's the price on this puppy? $241. $241 for a camera that has the exact same image processor, Digic 5, 18 megapixel sensor, hybrid CMOS 2 sensor, autofocus. Sorry, I'm losing my thought here. Yeah, it was a no-brainer. I was going to pay $185 for a JPEG point and shoot and not get quite the image quality that I could get out of this guy. And it was really a no-brainer for me. The problem is it's an international camera. It was never sold in North America or Europe or South America, for that matter. It was only sold in Asia. And so it's a gray market camera, so international versions have no warranty. I have heard tell that people have sent them into Canon and Canon has repaired them, but you know, I would never tell you that that's a fact. But you know, I went for it, figuring the money, you know, the value for money, $241 for the image quality you get out of this camera. I could not do it. And I'll tell you, I've been very, very, very impressed with this camera. It shoots as good, if not better, than my T5i, especially with ISO performance. The ISO performance is really good. I have a picture set of shots that I did from ISO 200 all the way up to 12,800, and I'll play those so you can see those. And also, I'm going to have a link below to full res images on Flickr that you can go take a look at and see the quality of the images out of this camera. It produces really, really nice images. And this camera is built like a brick. It's tiny. It's all metal. I mean, with the exception of the extension tube, which is plastic on the zoom, the rest of it is metal. This thing puts the kit lens on the T5i to shame. I mean, the body alone weighs almost as much. This weighs almost as much as my T5i, and it's half the size. So it's a great camera for carrying around. It's light. It does have some drawbacks, and those drawbacks are no viewfinder. You're only shooting with your touchscreen. No flash, just a hot shoe to add a flash. No dials, just this one. Pretty much everything is operated inside of the touchscreen. Let's go ahead and take a look at the screen settings, and you can see this thing is pretty much just like any EOS camera. Any Rebel camera or EOS camera, the menu system is exactly the same. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at that. Like I said, if you're used to the menu systems on the EOS systems or the Rebel systems, you're not going to have a problem with these settings on this camera. Here's your video button, but you have a dedicated video switch right here. You have a dedicated video switch, you have a creative switch, you have a basic switch, and you have a full auto switch on top with your shutter button. Now, this is all metal, everything. All these switches are metal. It is really, really, really nicely made. Exposure compensation, ISO, aperture, shutter speed, touch shutter. So it's got everything on there that you need to do your photography. This dial, this knurled dial here, is all metal. You got your exposure switch, lock switch, drive modes and timer, and trash can. Your trash can, when you hit the trash can button, it brings your focus point right back to the center again, which is kind of nice. Right here, obviously you can see you have all of your choices as far as your manual mode. You can use aperture priority, shutter priority, or right there, P mode. Go back to manual, and go back. And you can do everything on screen. So there's your shutter speed. Do you have to do everything on the screen? Nope. Absolutely not. You can use your exposure compensation button, which is right here. So right now it's on shutter speed. If I roll that dial, you're going to see the shutter speed change. If I hit the exposure compensation button, now I do my aperture. Alright. So you do not have to use the touchscreen for everything. You can use your buttons for your settings. You can do full manual focus. You can do autofocus. In video mode, you can do auto video and manual video. The menu system, if you're used to Canon, it looks exactly the same. You have your camera shots. Now, you don't get all your options. Of course, most people know that. You don't get all your options unless you're in manual mode. When you're in the auto area, you don't get all your options. So if I switch this to auto, you'll see the options I get are a lot less. Alright, well, there you go. And then there's the creative modes right here, where you have your choice of let's see, HDR backlit, handheld night scene, of course food mode, kids, sports, portrait, landscape, macro, starry night, and then just creative auto. I don't use these, but you know, whatever. They're there if you want to use them. And in video mode, you can change from auto video to manual video, and you have all your picture profiles you can use. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, so I mean, it's a beautiful camera. Here's a standard low light test I did with candles, starting at I think 200 through 6400 video test, and you can see the ISO performance there. It really did very well up to about 1600. 1600 it starts to fall apart. It's barely usable. It's usable. But once you hit 3200 and 6400, it really starts to fall apart. Yeah. how did I get this camera for 240 bucks? Well, I can tell you how I got it for 240 bucks. This is the box it came in. I got it from a company called Sixth Avenue Camera on Amazon. And this is the box it came in. Now, it was reported to be new. So, right here, you can see, it originally came with the 90EX flash, the 18 to 55, the EOS to EFS, EOS M to EFS adapter, and a 22mm f2 lens. Only thing I received was the camera and the 18 to 55. So what they're doing is they're farming out the pieces out of this box, selling them separately, and making the extra money. When I opened the box, inside there was a manual, no manual, and not that I could have read it anyway, it's probably in Japanese. There are the EOS discs in there, which you don't really need those because you can go online and download the stuff. The camera, the charger, the battery, the camera strap, which now is proprietary. It's it's got like a little cam system on it. You can see right here. Probably not. It's kind of small. It's got a little like a cam lock system on it. It's a very heavy camera, and they give you this little grip to hold it by. This little tiny grip area, which is tough, and this little thumb area where your thumb. I mean, it's comfortable, but you know, it's heavy. If you want to just one hand it, you know, after a day of walking around with it, your fingers are gonna feel it. So overall, what do I think of the EOS M2? I think it's awesome. I think it's an incredible value for money. I think the image quality is amazing. I think you look stupid with a speed light on top of this thing because the speed light's like this big and the camera is this big. But, you know, if you need to get that flash on there, you know, you can do it. It's got the hot shoe. The 90EX flash is just one of those in-your-face, like a pop-up flash. But yeah, it's a great camera. And I do recommend it for people who want a second camera. If they're a DSLR person, they want just a second camera to have. They don't want to haul their big camera around, but still want the image quality. Yeah, I'd say this is definitely a great choice. For somebody who's upgrading from a point and shoot, definitely. Somebody who doesn't want to use their phone camera anymore, definitely. Is it the fastest AF on the planet? Probably not, but I'll tell you what, it's pretty fast. I can give you a quick showing of how fast it is, and let me just show you this. It's not bad, you know. I haven't missed any shots with it so far, so I say it's good to go as far as I'm concerned. Of course, I'm not doing wildlife or sports shooting with it. If you're doing wildlife or sports shooting, this probably isn't your camera. If you're just doing snapshots, landscape photography, kids playing around, plants, animals, things like that, just in your yard, it's a great camera. It really is. I kind of wonder why Canon made the decision not to put this into the North American market and the European market and the South American market. Because I'll tell you what, if you go by the way people talk about the EOS M, the original, and how this camera performs, it's not the same camera. This camera performs really, really, really well. And you're getting a sturdy built camera. All right, well, again, I'm going to play some sample video and some sample images. If you have any questions, leave them in a comment below. I'll also leave a link to the camera and to the Flickr account where you can look at full res images. Other than that, yeah, great camera. Thanks for watching. I'll let you know if I have any problems down the road. All right, y'all have a great day.